Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to the Explainer. Listen, if you have ever poured weeks or even months of your time, energy, and resources into shipping a feature, only to launch it to absolute silence from your users, you know the exact pain we're talking about today. It is the universal, gut-wrenching agony of building something perfectly that, well, nobody actually wanted. And why does that happen? Honestly, it usually starts with a panicked phrase we have all heard in our careers at some point. We don't have time for research, we need to ship. This mindset is just incredibly common. It's basically the rallying cry of the overworked product manager, right? But it leads straight into these sloppy, reactive product cycles that cause massive waste. What typically happens is your engineers are halfway through building something, someone suddenly realizes, wait, no one actually validated this idea, and a frantic, under-resourced research phase kicks off. But by the time any real insights arrive, it is way too late to change course. So, here's our roadmap to fix this. We're going to cover 1. The discovery crisis, 2. The 2026 AI urgency, 3. Defining dual-track Agile, 4. Common failure modes, 5. The practical framework, and finally, 6. Measuring success. By the end of this explainer, I'm going to give you the exact framework you need to fix this broken cycle and permanently stop building things nobody wants. Section 1. The discovery crisis. Shipping fast, landing raw. Here's the thing, most product teams actually do discovery wrong. It's not that they completely skip it, but they sequence it all wrong. The typical scenario is that discovery kicks off way too late. When discovery runs completely parallel to a feature that is already actively being built, the result is chaotic, it's reactive, and it's ultimately totally misaligned. You end up with this massive, glaring gap between what we built and what customers actually needed. When insights arrive too late in the development cycle, you literally can't change the product direction. You just ship the wrong thing, then you repeat the cycle, and the gap between those two realities just keeps growing. Section 2. The 2026 AI urgency. Speed changes everything. Now, what's really interesting about this is how the problem is dangerously magnified right now in 2026. If you thought that gap was bad before, AI has completely changed the game. Look at this timeline. 2 weeks. A feature that used to take 3 engineers 6 weeks to build, that can now take just one single engineer equipped with AI tools a mere 2 weeks. AI has collapsed build times to absolute lightning speeds. Delivery has literally never been faster. But because delivery is so fast, the bottleneck hasn't actually disappeared. It has shifted entirely from delivery over to discovery. So if you're slow at discovery today, you're either leaving enormous engineering capacity sitting idle, or you're filling it with unvalidated work that ships incredibly fast but lands completely wrong. So the crucial point really comes down to this simple equation. Fast learning is greater than fast engineering. Having faster engineers simply isn't the competitive advantage anymore, because everyone has AI tools now. The teams winning in 2026 are the ones with faster learning loops. Discovery velocity is your real competitive advantage. Under pressure, the instinct is always to cut research so you can ship faster. But actually, scratch that. It's exactly backwards. When delivery speeds up, you actually need more discovery capacity, not less. Section 3. Defining dual-track Agile, the parallel solution. To fix this, we look to a methodology popularized by product experts Marty Kagan and Teresa Torres. Dual-track Agile is all about separating products work into 2 parallel, simultaneous tracks, discovery and delivery. And I really want to emphasize that crucial word here, parallel. This is absolutely not a sequential, upfront 2-week research sprint before you sit down to write specs. You cannot just do all your learning up front, flip a switch, turn off your brain, and just build. No way. The learning and the building must coexist. So let's break it down. Track 1 is discovery. This is the continuous work of figuring out what to build and why, and the output is validated bets. Track 2 is delivery, which is the continuous work of actually building what is already validated, resulting in shipped software. Think of it like a highly efficient restaurant kitchen. One team is constantly prepping the fresh ingredients for tomorrow's menu, while the other is rapidly cooking the meals ordered today. Discovery for future cycles is running constantly alongside the delivery of past cycles. The 2 tracks are always in motion, simultaneously. Section 4. Common failure nodes. Why teams stumble. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, well, we tried this and it was complete chaos, that is incredibly valid. There are 4 specific reasons teams fail when trying to implement this parallel system. Let's ironically walk through these steps to failure. Step 1. No dedicated capacity. This is your classic solo product manager trying to cram in user interviews in the 5-minute gap between morning stand-ups and their 3rd cup of coffee. There's just never enough time. Discovery requires dedicated team capacity. Step 2, no communication between tracks. Discovery happens in one corner, delivery in another. Engineers never see the insights. Step 3, measuring output over learning. Doing 10 interviews that just confirm your existing bias, that's pure validation theater. And finally, step 4, the discovery horizon is too short. If you're only researching what's in the very next sprint, you have absolutely zero runway. You need to be 4 to 8 weeks ahead for sure. Let's move to section 5 and see how this builds into the practical framework, building the playbook. Okay, here's the literal blueprint for your project board to fix those failure modes and build a system that actually works. You need 3 distinct columns: being discovered, ready to build, which means validated, and now building. That middle column, ready to build, that is your absolute lifeline. It acts as the vital buffer. Think of it as a holding pen for great ideas that have survived the gauntlet. If that middle column ever gets empty, your lightning-fast delivery track will stall, or much worse, it'll start building unvalidated garbage just to keep your engineers busy. But how does something actually make it into that middle column? An opportunity has to prove 4 things. Desirability. Do at least 5 customers actually confirm this is a real problem they'd pay to solve? Usability. Can they figure out how to use the prototype without you holding their hand? Feasibility. Has engineering given a solid, buildable signal? And viability. Does it actually fit the business model and legal constraints? An idea absolutely cannot move to the delivery track until it passes all 4 of these rigorous checks. No exceptions. And to keep this whole engine running smoothly, you're going to need a 45-minute weekly discovery sync. Now, this must be entirely separate from your standard sprint planning. In this meeting, there are absolutely no engineering deliverables discussed. 0. You're only asking 3 simple questions. What did we learn? What changed based on that learning? And what is ready to move to the ready-to-build buffer? This ensures constant communication between the 2 tracks without bogging down your engineering speed. Section 6. Measuring success. The ultimate metric. So you've set up the board, you have your tracks running in parallel. But how do you know if this is actually working? Well, it all comes down to your validated throughput. This is simply the number of opportunities moving from being discovered into that ready-to-build buffer per quarter. Tracking this makes your bottlenecks instantly, undeniably visible. If your validated throughput is low, you've got a discovery capacity problem. You just aren't learning fast enough to feed the engineers. If it's high but delivery is slow, you have a delivery capacity problem. It is the perfect diagnostic tool to keep your entire dual-track system balanced. So, what does a highly successful team look like when this is just humming along? Well, good looks like always having 3 to 5 validated ideas ready in the buffer. It means conducting weekly user interviews not as some exhausting special project, but as a deeply ingrained, boringly consistent habit. It means making explicit, visible connections between discovery insights and delivery decisions. So when an engineer builds a new checkout button, they can point to the exact user quote that validates why it's placed there. And most importantly, it means that discovery actively changes direction in delivery when you learn something new. A healthy team running this framework never enters planning without knowing exactly what they are building for the next cycle and exactly why they're building it. I want to leave you with one final critical question to chew on. Are you building faster? Or are you learning faster? In an era where AI has made building software incredibly fast, speed of delivery is practically guaranteed. The ultimate goal of dual-track Agile is to ensure your discovery is fast enough that you never build something you'll regret and that you find out quickly when you do. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this helps you build the right things every single time.